I'm Alex, he's Jim, and this is the Charging Status EV podcast. How you doing, Jim?
Not too bad. And we've got an illustrious guest with us this week. He's usually hobnobbing with the likes of Robert Llewellyn and Johnny Smith and other important and intelligent people. But this week he's with us, so apologies for that. But Jonathan Porterfield's with us.
I'm honoured to be in your presence, Jim.
Is EV royalty, I think. And in fact, such EV royalty, you've got a little anniversary at the moment, haven't you?
We have. It's 10 years. So September 2015, me and Chris Ramsey of Pole to Pole fame, we were the first to drive a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf. It was a press car from Nissan. They got it delivered up to Orkney, and we got it all graphicked up, and we drove from John O'Groats non-stop, except for charging, all the way down to Land's End. We spent 40 minutes at Land's End posing for pictures and jumped back in and drove all the way back. It was absolutely bonkers. We were awake for something like 42 hours. It was madness. And I had the mother of all headaches when we got back. We used to take it in turns to sleep on the back seat on the way back in between rapids. Yeah. But crazy. 10 years ago. How much things have progressed in 10 years is just...
How was the infrastructure then?
It was just Ecotricity and good old Dale Vance. He was behind us, and he arranged to try and meet us with a bottle of champagne, but for some reason it didn't work out. But we just went from Ecotricity rapids one to another. So we did 33 rapids in total. And as you can imagine, with the Mark 1 Nissan Leaf with no thermal management, as the case with the previous generation Leaf, we very soon hit rapid gate. So to alleviate the boredom, me and Chris tried every conceivable means to try and cool the pack down. After about the fourth rapid, we could see the temperature going up. We had Leaf Spy on phones bolted to the window and looking at all the stats and everything, getting really geeky because there was nothing else to do for 33 odd hours we were driving. So we were like, do you know what? Cold air is dense and it will seep down through the car. So we put the air conditioning on. It wasn't particularly warm out. We put the air conditioning on maximum in the belief that the cold air would sink to the base of the car, seep through the carpet, through the chassis, into the battery pack and help alleviate some of the temperature. Well, an absolute load of rubbish. All we got was feet we couldn't feel. Our heels were numb. They were just frozen beyond belief. We literally couldn't feel our heels.
Yeah.
So, we tried all sorts of weird and wonderful things. We even took out the little triangle inspection thing for the main fuse on the old Leaf. We whipped that up to let some of the cold air filter down into the pack. But it didn't make a jot of difference. We still navigated. But yeah, good fun times.
Right. And obviously you've done a few very long EV trips since. Living in Orkney helps, I guess, for the long road trips.
When I was, just a bit of background, I used to run a business called Eco Cars where I supplied used electric vehicles to customers all over the country. But when I moved to Orkney in 2014, there was a huge demand here. So I used to buy something like in Bristol or Birmingham at the auctions and then just use social media, Twitter and YouTube to just catalogue my trips back to show how easy it was. So from Leicester, where my parents lived, to Scrabster, which is the port before we get on the boat to Orkney, I did it around about 70 times in different EVs, from Mitsubishi iNevs, Citroen C0, Peugeot Ions, to the Leaf, right up to Teslas.
Yeah.
So I just drove every type of EV at the time, just to prove it could be done with time. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I mean, I know you've just recently been down to Spain, haven't you? And
so in the Nero, so we went last December and we spent 3 or 4 months down there, 2 months, and then came back early March. And the E-Nero, I'm a massive fan of the old shape E-Nero.
Yeah.
But it's just a really good used car. And you're a man of a certain age, Jim. You know, my Bladder range is about 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. That's good. Mine's about 2.5 minutes. I think.
If I don't drink coffee or tea in the morning and just water, I can go to 3 hours. I can push it to 3 without tea or coffee.
That's quite impressive in itself. We should have WLTP bladder rating, shouldn't we?
Yes.
But the EPA is actually more like the realistic number. In what's the Chinese one? The CL something
CLTC, I think.
Yeah, that one's 6 hours. But there we go. How we digress.
Yeah, driving down to Spain, we used it as part of the holiday, so it wasn't a race to get down there. And my wife, she's a whiz on Booking.com, so she just books hotels with Type 2 charges, destination charges.
Nice.
Which was there was another story because there was so many different providers, so many different apps. It was really frustrating. I did a video on it. It wasn't always easy to understand, especially when you're in a foreign country, trying to get the old Google Translate to figure out how to download the app, to pay for it, to set up an account.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that is still there's room for improvement there. But again, that's another big plus for Tesla superchargers because to work out the language, it's on your phone. It's 1A, 1B, 1C, the charger position. They're just miles ahead when it comes to the thinking of what an EV driver needs.
And even the thing I came up with, because I just did a road trip as well, is that even if you don't know any languages, it makes it easier than petrol because you haven't got to go into the shop and ask for each pump and work out what they're saying. Yeah. So you can just use it. It's all self-service on your phone. Yeah. So it's easy.
And
we'll have to do another podcast on your trip, Alex.
We will do.
Yeah, but just to fill you in, last time I saw Alex was in Munich, which he'd driven to Munich in VW ID3 GTX, and since circumnavigated Europe and got home yesterday, didn't you, or the day before?
Got home on Tuesday. I think I've lost track of what day it is. So, yeah.
The only real question I've got for you is how did you survive for that long without Greggs?
Without Greggs. Yeah. I'm not that obsessed with Greggs. I mean, I did have a Greggs the day I got back. To be fair, just a coffee. So,
you need higher standards. You do need higher standards. All that time in Europe, these amazing bakeries and little coffee shops, and he comes home jonesing for a Greggs. Dreadful.
See, one of the plus points of Orkney is they don't allow chain fast food outlets. So there's no McDonald's or Wimpy or Greggs here. They just ban it. So when I do go south, I quite like Greggs, I have to say. Quite like the vegan sausage rolls. Quite tasty. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I'm upset now. I think we should call it. We'll call it a podcast and say our goodbyes. No, this is not really the best sort of subject matter for the podcast, but I absolutely harken back to the days when every high street had 3 separate bakeries, and actually the ice buns were quite good in that one, but the bread was better in the one up there. And they were simpler times, weren't they?
Yeah. we back in Leicester, where I used to live, there was a shop that just sold cheese. And they had
brilliant.
A bakery, and it's just like that's all gone. It's now just Tesco's.
And I bet it was known as the cheese shop.
It was. You used to call it the cheese shop. Yeah.
There you go. Simpler times. Everyone knew where they were.
Yeah. The good old days, Jim?
Then they invented penicillin. Everything went wrong. I mean, I love your content, Jonathan, because like the auctions. I mean, now you've got obviously your regular videos showing. It's normally showroom, isn't it? That you're
because they're not touchy about me doing it. They're quite.
This was one of my friends was asking. He's doing a sort of trading up series, and he's got an account with BCA, and he's like, "Oh, I think I'm going to put the bid in the video." And I said, I could see BCA getting the right hump with that.
Oh, really?
And that is the case, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so they sent a very stiff, stern email to the new owners of Eco Cars, because I log into the old Eco Cars BCA account just to do the record and stuff. So they got wind because it was getting loads of views and everything, and just sent this very stern email to the new owners and said, "Stop it or else."
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So that's, and I thought, great, that's given me a great reason for a follow-up video that's had, like, for me, 139,000 views, because
amazing.
I just showed who's behind BCA, which is the Constellation Group, which own We Buy Any Car, Cinch, Marshall Group. They're just these massive monsters of the motor trade that are trying to dictate used values for the whole of UK, if not Europe. They're just massive.
I think they've bought Kazoo now as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
And the British Motor Show.
Oh, really?
Constellation Group, yeah.
They're massive.
And they'll probably buy Greg's next, and then we're all done for.
But I was genuinely quite flattered to thought that my little pathetic YouTube channel with 20,000 followers got them so worried that they had to send a stiff email, which is quite...
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Someone watches it and thinks, oh, this looks great. I've always wanted to have a go at this.
Yeah.
I'll sign up and give them some business.
I know. I couldn't get my head around it, but there you go.
Yeah. Is it just that you're showing the values or something? It seems a bit strange to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
See, what I've always done, even when I was buying cars to order, was just be open and honest. I just wanted to get bums on seats of EVs. I used to say, look, here's a £10,000 Nissan Leaf. If I can earn 300 quid out of it, and I just tap away on my keyboard, great.
Yeah.
It just going back slightly. It all started. I should never forget it. I bought a Nissan Leaf out of Bristol, Mannheim. So I flew down, picked it up, drove all the way back, did the videos and socials and everything. Did the video here, cleaned it up, test drive, video it, presented it, sold it to a bloke in Torquay. So I'd gone from Bristol to Orkney, and he wanted to deliver in. So I thought, well, I'll do a video about driving all the way back down again. and obviously I made enough margin on it to make it worth my while, but I thought there's got to be an easy way to this. So now the scenario was there's a Nissan Leaf coming up in Bristol next week. It's this much miles, this is the colour, this is the spec, these are the chips. It should be 10 grand. Get in touch. And people are getting in touch going, well, yeah, I'll have it for 10 grand. Well, it'll be plus the fees, plus my 300 quid if you want it. They go, that's amazing. So the bloke from Torquay will then jump on a train after he bought it and paid me and I'd pay the auction. He'd go there, he'd be sort of on the inside of the motor trade for the day, which they love.
Yeah.
Jump in and drive home in the car and be absolutely over the moon. He's got to take it to the valeters and give it a quick wash and a vacuum and stuff. And that's what my business started to really explode on, was just this honest buy to order, which is what I try to do with the videos. Just, we're all in this life to make a crust one way or another.
Yeah.
The days of motor dealers burning £50 notes and eating caviar for breakfast have long gone. It is really, really hard work. So if you can simplify it, which is what the other big platforms like Kazoo and Cinch are doing, is just doing this buy to order. Especially with an EV, because you've got no clutches to check, you've got no cam belt servicing and all the usual paraphernalia. So that's what I did, and it just got to the point where it got too much for me to handle. So it was nice to just sort of walk away from it and retire that little bit early. But I've gone slightly offline. But I don't know why BCA don't like the honesty, because the public aren't mugs. They know that things are cheaper at auction, but it's their loss. I mean, Shoreham, I know the manager really well and the auctioneer. They get at least 2 or 3 people a month turning up saying, "I've seen Jonathan's videos. Can I deposit?" and stand in the hall and stick a hand in there and buy a car. And they message me and go, "This car's brilliant." And I've earned nothing out of it, but I just want to get people in EVs.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a win-win for the auction house, really.
Yeah,
but
and
there you go. But great work with someone that appreciates it. And, What's the deal of the moment? What's coming through now at like that sort of 10, maybe 12 grand that we wouldn't have seen 6 months ago, for example, that looks like stunning value in your opinion?
So in any used car, people always get really jittery. If it's gone over 3 years old, the manufacturer's warranty's gone, etc., etc. So I know I keep banging on about it, but Hyundai and Kia in particular, Kia product. So the old shape Kia e-Niro, 64 kilowatt hour. The 4 Plus is the best trim. It's such a great all-round car.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, it's not in your face, it's not out there styling wise. It looks like a normal car. Okay, it doesn't charge particularly quickly, but how many times? Well, I got to the south of Spain without any problem.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's got a 7-year warranty. So if you buy it at 3 years old when it's come off lease, you've got 4 years warranty left.
Yep.
It's just a no-brainer.
It is completely.
Yeah. So you can look at all the the IDs and all the other stylish ones, but if it's a 3-year warranty, you're on your own when it's its third birthday. So
Yeah.
Kia Niro.
I'll tell you the other Kia that I've got a hankering for. That's the second time I've used hankering in this podcast. I don't know. I don't know what's happened to me. I really like the old Kia Soul EV Max.
Oh yes.
Which looks, I mean, I had a red one as a press car for a week and it looked just like Postman Pat's van.
Yeah.
But that was great. It's, again, really decent range. Probably the best sound system I've ever heard in a bog standard car. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was a lovely little thing to drive and so easy to deal with. And I did sort of enjoy the arrogance of it looking a bit like Postman Pat's van somehow as well. But I think they're good little cars, and no one ever sort of mentions them too much. But
no, there wasn't that. There's not that many around. I mean, there was one at Shoreham, or was it Aston Barclay? I can't remember. About 3 weeks ago, and that was in red, the Max trim, because I wasn't sure on what the Max meant, and somebody enlightened me.
Yeah.
Nice mile. I think it was 30,000 miles. A few scrapes and chips, nothing serious. Sold for 11 grand.
Jeez. Wow.
Right, that's got another 4-year warranty on it.
Yeah.
64 kilowatt hour battery. It's just, great value.
Yeah.
There's a load of quite decent EVs for about 10 grand at the moment.
Yeah.
You have a look on Auto Trader or whatever sort of platform you want to look at, and there's a bunch of stuff around that price. It's crazy. So
yeah. And
it's quite an interesting time at the moment, isn't it? Because you're now looking at what you can get in an EV used for, say, 10 or even up to 15. And then you look at what you can get as a petrol for that.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of disparity now. And it used to be, well, EVs are for the rich and all this kind of stuff. And you think, well, it's going to cost me bugger all to run if I can charge from home. Maintenance is negligible, really. And you can buy perhaps a 2-3-year-old car for the price of a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Petrol equivalent-ish.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
And I still see people in the press saying, well, EVs are just still too expensive, and they make a big fanfare about the Dacia, whatever it's called, the cheap and cheerful thing with a tiny little battery in it.
Dacia Spring, yeah.
Yeah. But I keep banging on about, well, get a Kia Niro or the Kia Soul at 3 years old. It's like you've got a brand new car with 4-year warranty left. Okay, it's not brand new, but it's such a capable car at a great price of around, 12, 13 grand. So people just seem so hell-bent still on brand new when it comes to EVs. It's got to be a new one. No, it hasn't. Get a second-hand one.
Yeah.
You've got no clutch to worry about. You've got it's not been thrashed. It's not been hit at the rev limiter all its life, or the clutch hasn't been slipped by a granny who doesn't know how to drive properly down to the shops once a week. There's so little to be abused on an EV other than tyres.
Yeah.
Not a big.
Yeah, that's it, really.
It's a good point.
Yeah. And I mean, this is like one of the things I repeat constantly is lease new, buy used.
Yeah.
Let the leasing company take it on the chin, the depreciation, because they're going to take the full brunt of it, especially on EV.
Yeah.
They're going to take the brunt of it. Obviously, they've often bought in massive bulk to get a huge discount, which is something that's often missed out in the press when they talk about some of these things and how unsustainable it is and all the rest of it. And then pick one up used when they're an absolute bargain.
Yeah. So
I mean,
sorry.
That's
so
right.
I worked out because we were doing there was a project up here called Reflex, which was to help decarbonise transport for Orkney, a massive government-funded project. And long story short, I've known Drive Electric, a leasing broker, for years. Know the two directors really well, and I was their representative on Orkney for the project, and we leased over 200 EVs to people, and it was discounted. It was so this government funded project.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing e-ups basically for 99 quid down and £99 a month, which is bonkers. We did about 30 e-ups, and we did about 30 e-Neros. They were like 230 quid a month, just crazy cheap. So what I'm getting around to saying is that, so I had my e-Nero 4 Plus that cost, I think it was like 260 quid a month over 3 years, 10,000 miles a year. I think I put down 800 quid or something. But it was with Arval, and it was quite interesting. Even though it was a personal contract hire, PCH, normally you don't get the option to buy at the end, unlike a PCP where you get that guaranteed balloon.
Yeah.
But because Arval have got this agreement with, bless them, British Car Auctions, you can actually ring up BCA, well, contact Arval at the end of 3 years, which is what I did, and I did a video about it. Ring them up. They gave me a price of what the car was worth, which at the time was 17 grand. And I'd worked out with the payments I'd made from having the car brand new to purchasing the car as a second-hand car, even though it never left my possession, it just stayed here in Orkney on my drive, I'd saved 10 grand. So the list price of the car was 39,900, but basically I got it for 29 grand, a brand new car. So there are ways and means of saving money through a personal contract hire with certain companies that will allow you to buy it at the end if you wanted to. So I bought my e-Nero that I leased.
Your e-Nero. There we go.
Through Arval, because Arval have an agreement with BCA, and I bought it and I basically saved 10 grand by leasing it and then buying it at the end. So I wanted a brand new car, I wanted an e-Nero. I got it brand new. The list price was 39 grand. I actually paid, because I worked it all out, I actually paid 29 grand. I saved £10,000 by someone else putting up the funding at the front, and then me paying it off and then buying it.
Do you know, I did a video with my Model Y because I bought that through the business because I wanted to get rid of some tax, basically, having paid the Chancellor quite enough in the last few years. And the only reason I bought it is because I couldn't lease it because my business was too new and no one would give me a lease. And I said in that first video, I said, I'm buying this and I'm doing it in a tax efficient way. But I know that probably in 18 months, this car will have lost more in its value than it would have cost me to lease for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then 18 months later, I did a video showing you that, that had happened and it cost, I can't remember the numbers now, but I think to lease it would have cost about, for 3 years, would have cost 16 grand or something, and the car had already lost 18 or whatever the numbers were. But you see, at the end of it, that car is an absolute bargain because you'll be able to get yourself a three-year-old Tesla Model Y for the square root of bugger all. It'll serve you well. There aren't many squeaky bits on it. So, it's just cheap motoring from that point on, really. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, when you buy something from auction as well that's coming back ex-lease, I quite like that because no one's been involved in the middle of it. Nobody's given it a nice little haircut at any point, or you don't have to worry about Fat Dave in the office that's got a drawer full of service stamps, or it's quite an honest car, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's the funder wanting their money back. It's so there's a toss up between buying a car privately or buying from a lease company every time. Yeah, you don't know what the private buyer's done. Is he pranged it and paid Dave down at the wheel arches to, the wheel arches, the railway arches to do it back up again? But with a lease company, the leasee is gone wrong, throw it back in the manufacturer, gets fixed. It's a much safer bet. Ex-lease.
Well, how do you think the used market is now? Is it stabilising a bit? There seems to be more interest in the used EVs now than certainly there would have been 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. So my appallingly sounded video that's going out tonight, cheap plug, was a report I saw from Cinch this week that in August
I'm trying to remember the figures. I think 16% of their sales were EVs, and 10% were diesels. So for the first time ever, they're selling more EVs than they are diesels. So there's a definite shift. And all the anti-EVers there, particularly out on YouTube, like, nobody wants EVs anymore. They burst into flames every 10 minutes. There's no demand at auction. Who's buying these? It's all a scam. Well, there's you know, a retailer with BCA and Constellation behind them saying they can't sell them fast enough. The demand is massive. And there was another bit of that report. It's online with Kazoo's press release or something. The most popular car that doesn't hang around long on their pitches or in their stock was the Skoda Enyaq.
Right.
Followed by the Nissan Leaf, of all cars. You know, the old shape now, Nissan Leaf. So stuff is being bought by the trade and bought by the public, rather, and it's not hanging around long. There's demand for them. So, and I've seen a rise in prices over the last month. Everything is going over what's called cap.
Yeah.
So, and some stuff, particularly the German stuff, if it's spec right, you know, with German cars, base price, you get an options list as long as your arm. So it might have $5,000 worth of options, and it was a $40,000 car. But some of those cars, they go way over cap. It's buoyant. There is massive interest, and a lot of car dealers are finally waking up to the fact they've got to get on this bandwagon because 2030, you know, etc., etc. So there is huge interest.
I'll tell you the one that I'm going to be interested in December is the VW ID Buzz, because December before last they had 800 went out in basically 2 days that were all the same spec, and they were all on 2-year leases, and obviously they're all going to come back into the market at the same time.
Nice.
So that could be quite an interesting month.
Another car that fits that. Would you remember that T90 Maxus pickup?
Oh, yeah.
They gave you one if you bought a box of cornflakes.
That's right. Yeah. I think there was some deals like £99 a month and 99 quid down. Listing at, what were they listing at, Jim? Was it like 46 or something?
Nearly 50, I think.
It was £60,000, including 60. VAT.
Oh yeah, of course it was. Yeah, it was basically 50 plus VAT. Yeah.
Well, I see them going through auction now and not selling at 16 grand, because there was a whole glut of them that were all registered before they ran out of that model, and they just flooded the market with £99 deals, or £199. I can't remember.
It was £99.
They're all coming back, and they, you know, someone wants a very agricultural, you know, a farmer wants to chuck lambs on the back of it, or hay bales or something. Fantastic, crude, but you know,
does the job. How's the Model Y, by the way? Because obviously you've got yourself a brand new shiny one.
Yeah, it was the 0% deal, mate. That just it was just, and the part exchange I got for my EMV 200, it's just bonkers. Yeah. So I kept going through the process. It might have been you or someone else that mentioned it was 0% PCP on X on Twitter. So I thought I'd just go down this rabbit hole, you know. I thought, but I bet they won't give me much for my Part X. And when it was £5,700, and I know it's worth about $4,500, I'm like, okay, well, I bet the insurance is going to be astronomical. Insurance for me, an old fart living on Orkney where there is very little crime, with Churchill was 360 quid.
Wow. Oh, wow.
With European cover. And I'm like, well, I'd be stupid not to accept this deal. So, long story short, I put in £9,000, so it was a maximum deposit of 15. I'm paying £197 a month.
Nice.
For 3 years, 10,000 miles a year. So and I went for the free colour, which is that beautiful gunmetal grey.
Yeah.
And I went for the white interior. I've always loved the white interior.
Yeah.
And I'm well impressed with it. It's rear-wheel drive. Don't want four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. I don't need 0 to 60 in something, I don't know, what is it, 3.7 or something. This is a full second slower 0 to 60. Don't bother me.
No.
Look, I tell you what, both. It is so monumentally efficient.
Yeah, they're incredible, aren't they? I mean, you consider the size and weight of the car. how they produce that efficiency. And the thing that always gets me with Tesla as well is people look at the WLTP and they're like, well, things have got much better range now. They're not miles ahead like they used to be. I'm like, look at the bloody size of the battery.
Yeah. So it's just 5 miles per kilowatt hour without me even trying.
Yeah,
bonkers. And we came back up from Glasgow with some friends. So fully loaded up, 4 adults, all the gubbins, all the luggage. And we were just trundling up the A9. Admittedly, we were sitting at 55, 60 because it's the A9. I was averaging 7 miles per kilowatt hour.
Wow.
Just sitting at that speed for mile after mile after mile because there's trucks and caravans and goodness knows what. It's monumentally efficient. I'm really, really chuffed with it. And I love the tech. I love my tech.
Yeah.
The thing I do like is the fact I've got it on auto select.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh yeah. So
you're back in the screen. I love that. I just think it's brilliant. It's really, really clever.
Do you know I've got that on my Model 3, but not on the Model Y.
Yeah.
And I often get into the Model Y now and just press the accelerator and sort of sit there, and then think, oh,
I've got to pull a lever.
Yeah, show the caveman the flame again. And yeah, I go to all that. Burn all those calories pulling the lever to put it into drive. Yeah. But no, I mean, I still think software-wise, they're streets ahead, and certainly like the efficiency is incredible.
And the suspension is so much softer on the new Y compared to the old one. It's not so nervous around corners. It doesn't jitter about a lot, and it's so quiet. It's just I can't hear any wind noise off the wing mirrors.
Yeah.
I get in the E-Nero now, and it sounds really loud compared to the Y. It's No, I'm well pleased with it. I'm satisfying an itch that I've had for a long time. I was going to buy a used one, but
yeah. I like the fact with the Tesla stuff as well is that you can go in at any of the levels. I mean, even if you go for the bog standard entry level on all of them, they're all good. Like there's not that massive a compromise.
No.
And like the charging process is just so simple. Pull up at a supercharger, plug it in, bugger off, come back, unplug it, gone. And I don't know, it just all works so well. And I'm sure that's because they came at the whole thing as a tech company, and probably a long list of things people don't like about cars, or a long list of things that people find annoying, possibly with EVs, although they were sort of at the dawn of it. And it's like, well, let's tick that one off, let's tick that one off, let's tick that one off. But yeah, I'd have another one tomorrow.
Yeah. And for all of Elon's rantings and ravings and his weird things he comes out with, got to take the hats off to Tesla, not just Elon, it's the whole team behind him. But to roll out that infrastructure before there was really that many Model S's on the road in 2014.
Yeah.
Just and I did read somewhere, apparently he offered the supercharging network to the likes of JLR and all the other big manufacturers years ago, and they just weren't interested. So he literally put the infrastructure there first and had the vision to think, well, if the charging infrastructure's there, then the people will come and buy the product, which is what it did. And there's no other manufacturer that's done that.
No.
Nissan, Renault, they haven't put infrastructure in. They'll throw a 7 kilowatt charger in the boot and say, there you go, we've sorted you. But
I was just with XPeng at the Munich Motor Show, and they were showing off sort of some of the infrastructure they've put in China, and I think it's coming over to Europe. But they've got these like 850 kilowatt chargers, and they're like, oh yeah, we've got however many 100,000 of them ready to go in China, and I think some of those brands will come over and do it, and where the old guard seem to still just sit back and wait for everything to happen around them. But
I do get a bit twitchy. This whole let's charge it up as fast as you can fill an internal combustion engine. I do get it, but reality is most EV drivers, plug it in when you're asleep.
Well, you see, I was saying to a mate yesterday that and I've said it on the podcast before, I think, but I find it a pain in the bum sometimes how quickly the car does charge. So, I mean, literally in the last year, I've probably used a public charger 15 times, 12 times. But on 2 of those occasions, like one, we took the kids up to York, and we stopped at Mansfield Services at the Tesla charger, and it's like a big outlet place, and we're like, oh, we're going to have a pootle around a couple of shops and have a coffee or something. Well, sort of 12 minutes in, I get a message on my app telling me I've got to go back and move the car, and I'm thinking, well, that's about 8 minutes walk back to where the car is, and then I've got to go back and find where my family are again. And it'd be good if you could just say, like, I know you can do this, mate, but could I have 40 kilowatts instead? Or, because that would tie in nicely with my trip to the shops and the Costa and the toilet, etc.
I had the same thing with the ID3. We'd plug the car in, it'd be a Tesla charger, and then I'd have to go and move it because it just charges too quickly.
Yeah.
I don't want to get the idle fees, so that happened more than once when we did our trip. So yeah, it happens.
I just think the other massive thing is, they're going to work.
Yeah.
So many times, driving up the A9 in Leaf, it's like you pull up to a Charge Place Scotland charger, crossing your fingers, and I used to remember getting this huge sigh of relief that it actually worked and it read the RFID card. And we did a bit of digging here on Orkney to try and sort out the issues with the Rapids, and there were so many people involved. There was the network provider Vodafone, then there was the SSE networks of supplying electricity, then there was the council it was put on, then it was the manufacturer, then it was the warranty, then it was Transport for Scotland. And all of these different bodies would blame each other for why it wasn't working, and it would be out of action for months and months and months.
Yeah.
Someone did something and then everyone else... There's too many people involved in that public infrastructure, and it's now sadly I just avoid Charge Place Scotland like the plague if I'm going south. So I'll leave here and I'll aim for Ionity, and when I had the Nero at Perth, because there's a nice Starbucks at Perth. I can get from here to Perth in the e-Nero, and then I'll charge up overnight and stay in the Travel Lodge, and then just go down south. Booths in Penrith, they've got some, is it Osprey? Or no, it's Ionity again, can't remember. GridServe, can't remember. But yeah, trying to avoid Charge Place Scotland because they're just not reliable. But
yeah, someone sent me a message recently saying about Charge Point Scotland and sort of the farce of it, and I must admit it's the first I'd sort of heard of it as an entity even, but it sounds like it started off with best of intentions and no one got hold of it properly.
And the stuff's been in, admittedly, the stuff's been in for over 10 years. They were the first to roll out, and at the time it was the network in the UK. No one else was doing it, and it was down to the Scottish Government and Transport for Scotland. But as these units have got older, they've not been replaced because the pot of money's not been there, and the councils don't want the hassle. And it's now fragmented, but you now just breathe a massive sigh of relief. You can get to a charger and it works. So when are you two going to do a road trip coming up to Orkney? That's what you got to do. You've got to podcast from Orkney.
We should do that.
You should.
Yeah, we should go up in an EV and do that. I was nearly up there a few months ago, to be fair.
I know, you went right around the top, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did the North Coast 500.
Yeah, nearly. Yeah.
So come and visit an island where we've got more electricity than we know what to do with.
Yeah.
Since 2013, we've made more electricity than we actually use.
Wow.
So it's bonkers up here. They turn turbines off because there's not enough demand. Then there'll be a little old lady sitting in a cottage, frightened to turn on her electric heater because she can't afford the electricity bill. It's just immoral.
It's hideous,
really makes my blood boil.
It is absolutely hideous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
We should find a way to do that. A long road trip, and we could do like a 15-hour podcast or however long it would take us.
Oh no. Yes, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, we definitely should do that at some point. Yeah. Do it in Honda E.
Doing a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf.
Yeah, I was going to say do it in a Mark 1 Leaf. Yeah. Fortune favours the bold and all that. We've probably kept you long enough, Jonathan. I think
I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think we should do this again.
Have me back. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, and perhaps next time, well, at some point, we'll do it in person with a Greg's vegan sausage roll for you. You never know. You never know.
And if I'm down south, because everything's down south for me except Shetland, but when I'm down south, I'll have to, because you messaged me, Jim, a while ago. You said, if you're coming through the Channel Tunnel, pop us hello or something. And...
I mean, it's not really a pop because I'm about 3.5 hours from that. I mean, I'm sort of just outside Bournemouth, but
right.
But yeah, if you're down here, then do let me know, and it'd be great to have a.
Yeah. And you as well, Alex. I don't really think this is a JP Jim loving, but you know.
Yeah, of course.
Two old farts rabbiting on about you wins.
Him, do you know what? Him and his girlfriend are horrible to me. They're always making jokes about my age and stuff.
Well, there you go. I can be your wingman, Jim.
Yeah. Luckily, he's only short, so I just stand on him, and that usually stops it. But you know.
Yeah, I've got nothing to say to that, to be honest.
Right, thanks very much for coming on, Jonathan.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great to finally have a chat, albeit a virtual one. And take us out, Alex.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening or watching. Thanks again, John, for joining us. It's been good to have you on to learn about auctions and all the different deals that's going on. You can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts in audio. There's a YouTube video version on YouTube as well. Where can people find you online, John, if they want to find out more about you and what you do?
Just my name into YouTube. So that's my name, Jonathan Porterfield, which sounds a bit pretentious, but I dropped the eco cars because I no longer own eco cars, so it's just my name on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah, we'll put some links in the show notes if people can't find that. And then what about you, Jim? Where can people find you on the interwebs?
So YouTube, definitely Not Guru, or my website is notaguru.co.uk.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll see you again next week.
Will do. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm Simon, you're Barry. I don't know.
I'm Frank.